Hello there, my name's Graph, and well, here's version 6. Now, before I go over version 6, because it is quite cool, I would like to mention some things. I will be leaving to do a service mission for the LDS Church for 2 years. This means I will not be making videos, I won't be working on this farm, and yeah. To be honest with you, I'm excited to get the opportunity to go help people, but I am a little bit sad to leave behind this creation and, well, all that it's been working towards. It's a little bittersweet. But either way, I would like to give it to you. Even though I will not have time to work on the farm myself, minercraftal is going to continue working on future versions as he so wishes to do in his free time. This will slowly mean some of the bugs may get pushed out. Maybe the redstone becomes cleaner, all sorts of little things. And it will still say the same link. So the link in the description is a Google Docs link, and so if he wishes to update and say add a version, maybe he'll build another version over here, test it out, do stuff, and then update the Google Docs link. So then you download the world, you'll get this and the next version, and so on and so on. So this way you could get a newer version that maybe has less bugs or maybe less things while I'm gone. I will also be going through how to port this over into a survival world and even the resources that it would take to build it in survival. Now, without further ado, let's check out what this thing has going for it. So, you got a place to clear the cube maker. You also have a place to reload the insides if they break. So, basically, if it broke, I click load. Some of these observers on the side are going to get pulled. You just want to come replace them into the side bits. And then it'll look like this. Okay. So this system's changed up a ton. First off, you'll notice the redstone is tiny. minercraftal somehow compacted all of this into a single chunk. So all the activations and such are chucked into this tiny little box, and I'm very impressed that he was able to do this. So the redstone is far simpler. There's a lot less going on. Although there's technically not really bone meal to connect it up, it basically gets piped from here all the way up to the top. So if you were, say, using this in survival, you gotta make sure this is kept filled, basically. But either way, you walk in the door, and to your left, you'll notice the selector panel has been changed for a book and quill. Now this has most of the information that you'll need to know about each tree type, and even one new setup. Because of the compressing within this maze, and also the noticeable height difference versus the old machine, we actually have the ability of doing 2x2 spruce. This is pretty cool. It's pretty cool stuff. So say I want to AFK this. Bring a minecart over here, turn on bone mill, and hop in. And then just place trees. As you'll see, a massive 2x2 spruce get taken out. You'd obviously place more trees, and then you have another. This I'm quite proud of. I was trying to think of how I could do 2x2 spruce with the added height, and I came up with literally moving the entire dropper section. So all of the droppers and hoppers get moved up a block, allowing it to be possible, because then it can lower and you can make a whole 2x2 spruce tree. So that's that tree. And then if we wanted to, say, swap to single white trees, then all we'd have to do is that, and we could go with all 4 of these options. Besides really oak, unless you want to grab some obsidian, because for oak you need to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I believe it is 8 above the head, so if I went 8 on either side, I think that is the right height. If not, it might be like a block lower. This is just so you don't get a big oak tree, because that'd break the farm. But then if we want to fill up all 4 cubers, you can turn on AFK mode, turn on bone mill, and you'll see that will get done. It'll be pushed. If I just hold down place like here, then I will allow me to place a tree, and it will push me over. This will slowly, evenly fill both sides by making sure that each side is at least got a tree on each one of them before they shove you over. So it's a little bit different version of the smart system I set up. It technically means you'll get a little bit less wood in total, but for the level of redstone convenience, it is a lot better. But anyways, yeah, you can do all four, and it works. It's not exactly a perfect system because, again, haven't had time to work out all the bugs and kinks, and yeah, well, that'll maybe come. So, you also note here that it says on page 5, use azalea to get oak logs. So this is if you don't want to put obsidian up there, you can just use an azalea tree. You just got to go over to this page. This page is all the plus-shaped ones, so we've got acacia, cherry, mangrove, azalea. This also technically uses this book. This book is for other stuff. So this is, feeding you your mangrove propagules. This is the blue fungus and red fungus for their respective trees, and also a nether grass switch to grow nether grass. We'll get to that in a second. But so now that we're on this page, to activate it, this is one of the setup trees. This requires you to turn on bone meal, and then you will see this wall gets pushed into place. And then if we did a plus-shaped tree like azalea, and then we'll do, say, mangrove or cherry. Then you'll see it will also do those. So all the little plus-shaped trees that are listed there does nicely, and gets you, decent tree, decent setup. Okay, also one thing to note, when switching off this tree, you're going to want to grow a tree and then turn off bone meal. This will stop it from removing the wall into the way, thus allowing you to swap to a different tree. Because you'll see when it finishes, it should stop, and then we are good to swap to a different tree. So if we swap, we're now in the dark oak to pale oak. We can turn on bone mill and turn on AFK, which should move the floor underneath your feet. So if you just line up your cursor correctly, you should be able to just start planting trees, and then you'll get one of the trees you want. Now, thing to note, currently dark oak is negative in terms of sapling return. I do believe it is possible for us to get positive, although it's going to take a decent remodel of a lot of the wiring for dark oak mechanics, which also rewires stuff for nether. So to say it will happen soon, it's not very likely, but it does seem to be possible to gain a positive amount. So I'm hoping it can be done. But yeah, in the current second, you're going to want to bring in more saplings, because you will not get a positive result. Either way, after you're done using that, you just turn off AFK and turn off bone mill, and then swap over to another tree. So now we are on the nether trees, and this is quite simple. You'll come over here, place your nether rack on either side you want. You either want blue or you want red. I like blue, so I'm going to do blue. Then you'll come over here, you'll turn on bone mill, and then if you're already on the nether grass page, you'll simply swap over to a different page, come back to the nether grass, it will get sent up, and the nether grass will grow. Then all you do is place your warts, and your tree is grown. Now, for like single wide trees and nether trees, you can replace these two blocks in front of your face with either like carpet or an iron trap door, just so then you're not accidentally placing on the dirt and putting a sapling here. As I'm not holding down, I'm not getting the sapling there, but either way, it works. This gets you your nether tree, with honestly a pretty fast cycle. I believe it is down to around 25 seconds, I believe. Instead of the 30 that I had, it might even be only at 20. I honestly forget. It's been a minute. But either way, really cool. I still really love this. But here, let's see, go over to this one, and then we can get some red going on. And bam, there's your red side trees as well. So yeah, this is honestly a really cool version of the farm. I like it a lot. If it wasn't for the couple bugs that randomly appear, uh, this is, I mean, it's beautiful. Like, you know, there's no way to put it. It's beautiful. This also has the same thing of because the walls will lock, you've got to turn off bone mill to swap to a different tree. So, yeah, we'll turn off bone mill now that the cycle started, and then we'll be able to swap to different trees. But yeah, this is super duper cool. Also has a couple safety features that semi-help. So, like, let's say I swap over to this tree, and then I had bone mill on. If I walk on these pressure plates, bone mill gets turned off as you leave. This helps with not breaking stuff, and as you can see, the trees that have been done are now slowly filling into a big block on both sides. Then these systems are really quite something. So if your said tree, you know, gets slowly over and it hits one of these, you'll notice it starts to do something. This not only is sending a signal to stop the machine from doing anything else or activating any more trees or anything, but it also is running a clock that is trying to send a signal down the wall. Now, what this is doing is this is basically telling you this cuber is full. And if we were to remove these blocks, that signal will be able to reach its designated target and turn back on the farm. So it has an automatic cube reset. So if if you've got, say, a block that's here on maybe that side or that side, and you didn't really notice it or whatnot, the farm's not going to start back up. But if you said came out, cleared out all the cubers, got rid of the blocks here, and got rid of the blocks on that side, then the farm's going to start up because it's going to use this timer. You won't have to push a button or something to say that the cuber is reset or something. It already is checked it for you, which is super cool. I absolutely love it. Now, I would like to show you how exactly you get this into, say, a survival world. So you'd come over to this structure block over here, and you would export this, and I'm just going to put it in downloads, and then depending on if you want to care about the resources or not, you can care about them or not. It's always up to you. I like to care about my resources for a farm like this, so if I was importing into my world, I would want to delete this quantity of resources from my world, so then I am not cheating in an entire large quantity of items. But that is always up to you. Now, the sunflower is what we're going to want to keep in mind. So for whatever world we port it into, we want the doorway facing this direction when it comes to sunflowers. Now if we go over, we're going to say just create a new world. We're going to do it survival. Then you're going to want to turn on cheats. And then, you know, this is maybe just random world that you didn't have cheats on. You turned on cheats, etc. And then we're going to want to do /give at p structure block. Then we're going to want to go into creative, grab a sunflower just to check directions. Then we're going to want to load, import the structure file that we want. And then it'll make this big box. And we're just going to want to make sure this is chunk aligned. There's many ways to do it. I have a texture pack to chunk align stuff. So I want to say this is in between a chunk. So I'm going to move this back probably somewhere around here. Import it in. And then we're just going to try loading it. You can be particular about it and all, but it's easy to test. Yeah, because, okay, so we're a little bit off. Need to move back. Let's see if this is chunk. Go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So if I say 1, 2, 3, 4, back 1. So about right here. And then I load it. We'll see it is now chunk aligned. Then I could get rid of that, get rid of the armor stand, and then go around, get rid of the command blocks, get rid of the structure block, and also the structure block over here. And then you could, go through, get rid of all the wood and such if you don't want to. Port that over. And yeah, and then you're going to need to come into here, and this is all sorts of spaghetti. And you're going to just have to come through here and break a lot of stuff. We can do this in an easier manner. If I go to right here, I hold Control-Alt-C, it will copy my current position. So if I do /fill and then paste in my current position, click enter, then go over to this corner, just break all the way down to right here, do Control-Alt-C again, and then click the up arrow, and then paste in the other coordinates, and then do air. This will quickly remove a lot of the excess. And we also need to go around and remove the excess minecarts. You can do this by going into spectator mode, and there should be a minecart right here. And there's possibly should be some other minecarts from your previous paste job, which will also need to be removed and such. But I don't necessarily see where they are at, so possibly fine. Unless there's 2 minecarts in here. But I don't think so. It also looks like in that break, one of the copper golems was removed. That probably means that it's in here, which it is. Grab the back out, place it, get rid of it. And then we're just going to want to reset all of these walls by hand, which can take a bit. We're going to start with the outside bits, because they possibly have taken some of our components, like so. And then you're going to want to grab something like netherrack that you don't care about and fill these gaps. And then we can just come through, place a bunch of pistons, replace this piston, replace these observers, place those pistons, this piston, put back honey, put back slime, put back honey, move the piston back, honey, and then fix up that, go down this, and then you'll notice this is overextended, so we're just going to want to punch that out, get it back a block, get our observers back, go back there, get these back, and then sticky pistons all the way up. Grab these pistons and fix up the wall. See, now you got one of those, like nice on the sides. We can just come back through with netherrack to fill the gaps. And then it looks like also one of the minecarts got broken. We're going to grab a rel, place a minecart, knock it off, and then just shove it back into place. And then fix up this wall. And now other components might have also been lost in these side components. Like you see, I didn't see this, but there's a piston that got an extra layer further. So we're just going to break in that, and we're going to go check the other sides to make sure nothing like that has happened. Oh, yep, like you see, there's an observer here. Get rid of that. I'll check around these sides. Doesn't appear to have anything. Doesn't appear to have anything. Cool. Now we got both sides nice and repaired. And we're just going to work on these main walls, which we're just going to work on this one first because this one's easier. You can just reset it all back into their own recess. And then we can take away some of the extras, come fill gaps. And then just put glass in the center of all these. Grab some observers, just go down, facing them towards the glass. And then sticky piston is going all the way up and down. There you go, I got a side repaired. We're just gonna make sure there's no overextending bits. Doesn't look like it. Now this side's a little bit different. There's glass in the walls. This entire back line should be filled up with glass, so we can just come through here and make sure it's got glass on each of these. And then we basically just go through and do the same thing on this side. We just tear apart the walls, get the pistons back. To where they should be. Destroy all the extra glass. Then get back our honey and slime. There, all the walls are repaired. And if we come back through here, make sure these are all nice and clear. No overextensions. I'm just gonna get rid of the excess that was made through copying it pasting it multiple times. So I'm just gonna come through and delete this. So we're gonna do the same. Control Alt C / fill, paste in that, click enter, and then go all the way down here and do Control Alt C. Paste back it with the up arrow, and then air. And then take off this chunk. Control C / fill. And fill that with there. Looks like I left behind some excess bits. Another excess bit. Now, for anyone that's not beacon rich, there are alternatives. We could use obsidians or scaffolding if you want to still see stuff. So if I was like, oh, I still want to see here, then we can put scaffolding right here, and I would also move it further just so no blocks get filled by nether trees there. Or we could just say, oh, I would rather just have obsidian. And if you come on the other side, you're going to want to place some buttons just so the line doesn't get blocked. Also looks like we found one of the hopper minecarts, so we can just punch, get rid of that, place back that, and put back its button. And then you're good. You don't have beacons here. This has to be either like a jukebox or obsidian, something solid that you can place the redstone torch on. And I mean, that redstone torch is technically just for symmetry, but you know, details. Then there's the beacons on the floor, which we can also either replace with scaffolding or obsidian. So if you just wanted to do that or something, maybe you still want to get into this random crevice. I don't really know why you'd want to, but you know, place out scaffolding. And then there is one last beacon over here, which also seems to be where some other minecrates are stored. So if we get into over here, get rid of that minecart, which looks like it had bone meal in it. If we get right here, get rid of that minecart. And this beacon does have to be something that's not solid, so we'll do scaffolding. I'll choose to get rid of the obsidian over there, place scaffolding, and then break this beacon and place scaffolding there. Now, your build isn't nearly as expensive to transfer to survival. Unless you want to transfer with beacons. I mean, if you're rich, hey, yeah, it's quite the flex. Anyways, that's it. And you could test all the different trees and go through it. And then, obviously, probably / clear your inventory. I would have emptied my inventory before I started this. And then gone back to survival. And now you have your very own tree farm with saying you've burned, you know, the items that originally cost, like, yeah, they're right there, right? They get ported in with us. So, you know, the items would be here. So, you know, you start matching them with items that you have, and you start, you know, destroying them and, you know, burning them up. But, you know, then you've used the items that this farm would have cost to make without really cheating in an entire farm. Unless you want to cheat in an entire farm without paying for the resources, then you can completely ignore this. It's just personal preference at the end of the day. And yeah, I would recommend lighting up underneath it, obviously, so mobs don't spawn and all that. But yeah, there's a farm for you. Oh, hope you guys enjoy that, and yeah, I guess I'll see you in 2 years. So you'll have to tell me what you think. Anyways, have a great rest of your day, and see you later.